No pooping at work. Maybe the title is misleading. I have massive stomach issues. I don't have insurance to get to a doctor that can fix it without destroying me financially, and I'm already financially shit. I have provided a doctor's note to my work stating I need to take extra time to use the bathroom. They insist I clock out to use the bathroom if over 20 minutes. I insist they give me this in a trackable email format, which they refuse. I'm not taking 19 minutes of poop, doing 5 minutes of work to another 19-minute second half of my poop to not clock out. It's not a big Malcolm, but I think they are seeking some way to fuck me over by not sending me the email trail. That said, I do believe I can just look at them with a blank stare and say, I don't remember any meetings. I want this email trail more than anything, but like, it's annoying to have my poop monitored and has really sold my view of the company. Okay, if you guys have better ideas, I'm not necessarily creative, just a dick who wants to shit in peace. Edit, I work part-time opening boxes, forgot to mention this.
Maliciously poetic. Last month, my daughter's middle school English teacher asked her students to write a haiku to review for a vocabulary test. The haiku had to utilize at least one of their vocab words. The teacher also gave them another, specific instruction, remarking that the students were not allowed to end their haikus with the word refrigerator, which is a popular joke in haiku circles as the word contains 5 syllables. So my daughter came up with this little gem. Refrigerator. I circumvented the rule. Haha, microwave. I eventually stopped laughing long enough to wipe away my prideful tears and give her a hug. Circumvent was one of their vocabulary words. Her teacher just laughed and said, "That's very clever," in a slightly annoyed tone. She received full credit on the assignment.
Not even the CEO can do it. Okay, let's find out.
This is from a long time ago, but I thought I would share.
I bought a laptop from a large Fortune 500 company. We will call this company Bell Computers. After about 2 years, the hinges on the laptop broke and it was almost, but not quite, out of warranty.
I called the service center and they refused to replace it. I called, got the runaround, and each time they refused to fix it or even send me the part. Eventually, I was speaking with a low-level customer service manager.
And I told them I would keep trying to escalate this until someone honored the warranty.
Then he replied, "You can escalate this all the way to the CEO," and he wouldn't even do it. Well, it was at that moment it clicked. See, I used to work for Bell Computer Company.
I didn't know the CEO, Mr. Bell. But while I was employed there, he would occasionally send mass emails out to the staff.
The email was also a combination of initials and names, so it was easy to remember.
All right then, let's play. I hung up the phone and drafted an email to Mr. Bell, CEO of Bell Computers, just like the helpful customer service rep said I should do. I wrote in the email about being a former employee,
how the runaround with customer service was awful, how I just wanted the part to fix my laptop. The next day, I got a phone call from Mr. Bell's executive assistant. I spoke with her for about 15 minutes about everything that happened.
She took my info and my computer service number and said she would forward it to the VP of Customer Service. I got an email the following day saying it part had shipped.
I took it all. My boyfriend and I broke up a few months ago, but there have been complications with the apartment, because we are both on the lease and blah blah blah. But I found a new place to live and moved out last weekend. I got the important stuff out, but there were still a few small boxes left, and I didn't go through the kitchen because I didn't know what my new roommate had. My ex helped me move, and everything was going very well, and we were being cordial. Well, last night, my ex asked me to come over to pick up a few of the small boxes that were in the closet, and to say hi to his dog who was sad that I was gone. So I go over there, we are hanging out, I play with his dog, everything is good. Then I asked him if he minded if I took the dish brush because my new house didn't have one. I asked because I bought this dish brush just a couple weeks ago, and I even splurged on a nicer one like $5 lol. Side note, I am the only person in our relationship who ever bought household items like this. I just moved into a new place where the rent is higher. I've had to pay for a moving truck, and all the other little things associated with moving somewhere new. The last thing I want to do is go to the store and drop another $50 or so, buying a bunch of little things I literally just bought a couple weeks ago. Apparently asking for the dish brush triggered him, and he made the ridiculous dictate at 8 p.m. on Wednesday, mind you, that I could take anything that's mine tonight, but anything that was there when I left that night would be his property now. Alanoid said no, that I don't agree to this. I immediately said the dish brush was not a big deal. I told him that I did not come prepared with boxes, bags, etc. to get everything I wanted from the kitchen. I said I could do this tomorrow or any other day of his choosing. I begged him to compromise. I told him I wouldn't take the dish brush or anything that he said he wanted. However, he only tripled down and refused to budge from his ridiculous demand. So I became very irate. I told him that if he was going to make me move all my dishes out in plastic trash bags tonight, that I was going to take every last thing that was mine. Again, I am the only person who ever bought anything like pots, spices, utensils, cleaning supplies, etc. I was planning on leaving most of it with him because my new roommate already has a lot of this stuff, but I decided that if he was going to make such a ridiculous rule, then I would take it all. I took the dish brush, the sponges, used and unused, to all my spices, the soap, the utensils, all the pots, the Tupperware, the toothpicks, the toilet paper, the pillows, the wall hooks, the coat hangers. I even took the light bulbs. I took it all. Did I yell? Yes. Was I petty? Absolutely. But I think it is quite petty to make a demand on the spot that everything I don't take tonight becomes his, when this was not the pretense under which I came over, and I was obviously not prepared.
My boss used me for MC 5 years ago, and I just figured it out. MC stands for Malicious Compliance. This has nothing to do with Minecraft. Story starts now. About 5 years ago, I was the office guy for a small lumber mill. My direct supervisor was the general manager, but the owner was also pretty hands-on. The mill wasn't generating as much profit as the owner believed it could. He was probably right. The guy was smart as a whip with 60-plus years of experience. One of the things the owner tried to do was hire an outside consultant to try and find ways we could safely increase productivity or cut expenses. The guy had owned and operated his own mill and also had a ludicrous amount of experience. One of the things the consultant had been pushing for was running the mill into overtime. Thought we could increase productivity without incurring more expense than we gained. My boss asked me to run an analysis of how much we would lose if we ran overtime. I did the math and gave him the results. Even in the best case, every minute of overtime would result in a net loss to the company. This report had taken me several hours as I wanted to be sure I gave him the right answer. My boss took it, nodded, and the next day announced we would be running the mill in overtime. 2 weeks later, when I prepared the end-of-month financial statements, it showed a large loss. I was quietly seething, since I felt like I had been asked a pointless question, my time wasted, and my input ignored. But looking back on it with significantly more experience, I think I know what happened. I think my boss was bothered by the consultant who had come in to tell him how to do his job and then given him bad advice. The owner wouldn't listen to my boss telling him he didn't need a consultant. So he did exactly what the consultant suggested and let the owner judge for himself, as far as my report went. I think he just wanted to be sure it wouldn't cost us too much when he pulled the trigger. Nam, if you're reading this, I'm sorry I was resentful about the whole affair for the past 5 years. My bad. Did it please stop asking me where who? I'm not doxing them. PLDR, my boss needed a consultant off his back, so he had me check to see how much it would cost us to just follow his advice. We followed his advice, lost some money, and got rid of the consultant.
Try telling a queer scientist that he has no choice. My husband, Chad, is naturally a better decorator than many professional designers that have their own shows. Years ago, when he lived in an apartment complex, the rental office staff became aware of how beautiful he decorated his apartment. It really was award-winning, literally. Anyway, the apartment manager notified Chad that his apartment was to be the model going forward. Chad was not happy with this development. Strangers moving through his personal areas, going through his things, possibly stealing things. Unacceptable. The apartment manager was quick to mention that this was a part of Chad's lease. Suddenly, an idea occurred to Chad. "Are you allowed to move or cover up anything in my apartment?" "No, sir, we are not allowed to touch, move, rearrange, or cover up anything." "Thank you." Chad put up every piece of male erotica he possessed, and he even bought some more. Toasters, figurines, serious art. Even a pile of magazines found out on the coffee table like some kind of doctor's office. Chad called the rental office and warned them against bringing anyone into his apartment that was a child or squeamish about such subject matter. The rental office immediately sent over one of their maintenance men to confirm. Check and mate.
Did you recognize all of the voices? You can leave your guesses in the comments.